I just remember sitting, looking at him and being like, no, this isn't what I want. That guy that just isn't sure about you. And it's like, I'm worth being sure of.
Today I'm joined by Danni Menzies, TV presenter, podcast host, and all-round powerhouse, to talk about reinvention, dating, self-worth, and how to rebuild your life when everything changes.
People see the end result quite a lot. They don't see you know, crying because you can't afford to buy food. I probably worked for free doing interviews, covering events for about 5 years in my spare time. And I was trying, and I ran up quite a lot of debt. I was really struggling with everything. I had PTSD, I had anxiety, I was definitely depressed. I just thought, how am I going to do this? And it's hard to keep the faith, but what else can you do? There's not one bit of you that goes, oh, but what if it doesn't? Like, I just knew. I knew I'd get there. I'd rather be alone than be with someone that doesn't make me feel chosen. I've given myself permission not to stay somewhere that doesn't feel 100% right for too long.
If you could talk to the little Danni in Scotland, what would you wish to tell her?
I don't know if it would make any difference, but I'd probably say something like,
welcome to Do Not Disturb, the inside story. I'm your host, Simona Devta. Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Dream first date idea?
Ooh. Going on an adventure somewhere.
Great. Favorite guilty pleasure after a bad day?
Watching Married at First Sight Australia.
I did not watch that. I should. I love TV shows
just
like
got
that.
So juicy right at the end. I'm not gonna lie.
Red flag that's an instant no for you?
Someone who chews loudly, eats with their mouth open, bites their nails, or heavy breathes.
I cannot date you. I bite my nails.
No, it drives me mad.
Best advice you have ever been given?
We're all gonna die. Nothing matters. I get very like, sometimes when I'm doing like something public speaking, or have to say things in front of lots of people, I get really sort of embarrassed and panicky. And I was meeting this comedy coach recently, and he was like, stop it, we're all gonna die, nothing matters. And I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a great advice. Welcome to Do Not Disturb. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. I love your setup.
Thank you. It's very cozy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you introduce yourself to our listeners in your own words?
Oh my gosh, I hate doing that. So I'm Danni, and I'm a TV presenter. I'm a country girl at heart. I've been in London for 13 years, and yeah, I've just living life and doing my best and trying to be nice while I do it.
That's so nice. And you grew up in Scotland, is that right? I did,
yeah. Do
you think that influenced a lot the way you are?
Oh, definitely. I mean, growing up in Scotland is another world from London. You're literally out in the countryside all the time. I'm very much like a rough and ready person. I can do the city life, but I love being in my wellies, messy hair, no makeup, out in nature. And I think growing up somewhere like that, it's a part, like, it never leaves you. It's a part of your DNA, that sort of feeling that you get when you're in the countryside, that need for calmness. So it's definitely shaped who I am today, for sure, in many ways.
Do you think that gave you like a sense of freedom as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that came from living there, but also from my family. My parents love to travel, so from a young age they would take us on these amazing adventures. And that is my favourite thing to do now, is just go on adventures and try new things and go to new places. So I think, yeah, I got that from exploring the countryside, but also massively from my mum and dad.
Fab. And what, if you could talk to the little Danni in Scotland, what would you wish to tell her?
Little Danni really struggled a lot with like her self-worth and confidence and speaking up in the right moments about the right things. So I don't know if it would make any difference, but I'd probably say something like, just stop caring what other people think so much. Just do what makes you happy, and just don't worry so much. But it's much easier said than done, isn't it?
Well, but you're saying it now and being so much in the public eye, which I think is even harder to feel that way. Could you tell us about how you broke into presenting and this career that you're on now?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I look back and it feels like a lifetime ago, but I had like a slightly unusual way of getting into presenting. I was living in Scotland, and I was running a riding school there that I'd started when I was about 19. And I did some modelling pictures with this photographer who'd come up on holiday with his family, and my best friend sent them into a modelling agency, and that's kind of how that started. And then eventually I was like, okay, maybe I'll give this a go in London. Came down to London, and it was hard. It was really, really, really hard. I probably worked for free doing interviews, covering events for about 5 years in my spare time, in the evenings, going to gigs and interviewing people, etc. And I was trying, and I ran up quite a lot of debt because I wasn't making enough money. And I said to myself, if I don't get it by the time I'm 28, I'll go back to Scotland. And then probably about a week before my 28th birthday, 2 opportunities came in, which were both pretty big, and one of them was a place in the sun.
That's so cool. Gives me chills.
Yeah, honestly, like, people see the end result quite a lot. They don't see you, crying because you can't afford to buy food, or like, not being able to just trying, just really ruthlessly trying and knowing inside that it's going to happen, even though you've had 500 million no's, So yeah, I think it's good to share that these things don't happen easily.
What kept you going in that time?
I just had this feeling inside that I just knew it would happen. I think like if you want to make something happen, I think if something's going to happen, you have to know wholeheartedly. There's not one bit of you that goes, oh, but what if it doesn't? Like, I just knew. I knew I'd get there. And so that just kept me going. And actually, something that really helped was my mum would question me. She'd be like, well, I was just speaking to Granny, and, we think you should come home. And I'd be like, what? Like, it would make me so angry, because I'd be like, that is not what I need to hear, Like, you're supposed to tell me to keep going. But it's almost like her questioning whether it was going to happen and, suggesting that I come home actually made me work harder, because it just wasn't an option for me.
I have that a lot with my business. I have another business that I run with condiments, and my relatives were like, what is this little business you do? Don't you want to get, a real job? And I'll be like, I'll get into Tesco's. Like, I'll do it. I'll do it. Like, I'll prove everyone wrong. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And I think, like, visualize, for my whole life, my whole adult life, I've always tried to create visions in my head of, like, what I want to be doing, where I want to go. And I think probably at the time where I was struggling the most, I was living in London, and I think I made £12,000 one year, which, as we all know, is not enough to even pay your rent. So I was running up debt, and I just thought, how am I going to do this? And I made a vision board. And like, I literally wrote £50,000 on it, and the next year I made exactly £50,000. And that was when things sort of started to turn a little bit. But I do believe in like visualizing and manifesting, and really, having that vision of what you want to do and where you want to go. You need to put a picture of Tesco on your wall.
I have it on my desk.
Yeah, I love that.
We are in Tesco Ireland now, so we are getting there. Yeah,
I love that. Go girl.
Small steps, but in the right direction.
But you have to celebrate the small wins as well, because that's progress, right?
I'm learning that as well.
Yeah.
I think I was so set on the big vision that now I'm really like, even with the podcast, every download I'm like, yes, like one more, like, another listener gave us their time. Like, I'm so happy. I'm not chasing, I hope we'll get like 100 million one day, but I'm not chasing those big numbers. I'm like, let's celebrate every single thing. Like, Danny's here, let's be happy about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean though, it's hard sometimes.
And tell me, what is the biggest myth you think is about success? Because you were in that place when you really wanted to do well, you really wanted to break into presenting, and then you break into it, and I think there is a little bit of, I did it, but I still have other challenges. Like, did you come across any myth of success?
It's a funny one because I don't really feel like I'm a success.
That's the first probably.
Yeah, I think that's the funny thing. Like, I think you sort of have this vision of like, oh, I'll get my first job on TV and then I'll feel like I've achieved, but you just don't. There's always something else. And I don't know if that's just a personality trait, and I don't know if that will ever change, but I feel like I'll always be wanting the next thing.
I'm like that too. I get that. Yeah. It's like, I could do more. Yeah. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah, that job
me?
was fine, but it was a stepping stone, and now I need the next thing.
So what is the next thing?
Well, I mean, the dream is ever evolving. It's so funny because when you go into meetings with production companies who are making shows, they always ask you like, so what's the dream? What do you want to do? And mine has changed quite a few times. So before I moved to London, I had the horses and an animal sanctuary essentially. And the dream was to create a show that was about animal rescue. And when I paid off my debt from doing A Place in the Sun, the first thing I spent money on was going out to Cyprus and making a taster for a show about dog rescue over there. And it nearly got picked up, but it didn't. So then you think, you know, I kept trying with animal stuff, but it wasn't happening because I'm not an expert. So then you kind of reinvent the dream. And I guess for me, the dream now would be doing an adventure show. Like I love going on adventures, and I'm speaking with someone about it at the moment. But I think something that is travel, adventure focused would be amazing. Obviously, the podcast we've got going now is all about dating. So I'd love to do something that's more entertainment based, where we're hosting some sort of like dating show. There's lots of different ideas.
Lots of different ideas. Well, I'll be watching you. If you ever go to do any adventure trips in Brazil, that's where I live right now. Let me know. I would join you.
Okay.
We just did Amazon, and it was one of the best traveling I've ever done.
Oh, really?
It's really captivating. Yeah, you swim in the river, and they're like anacondas. And
I saw a video on Instagram the other day. Oh my God. It was like a bird's view of the river in the Amazon, and the anaconda was like, it was like the size of like 12 cars.
Yeah.
It was like,
but the river is black.
Huge.
You can't see them under you, but they're there. You know.
Well, it was one on the surface, and it was, I could not believe how big it was.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
It would eat us all whole.
And people swim there. Yeah.
No.
It was fun. It was worth doing. So if you want to do it, call me. I'll do it with you. I'm big on adventure. Nice. Dating. Tell me about dating, about the podcast, about your dating. What is dating for you? Everything.
I mean, dating is hard. That's what it is. Like, honestly, it's funny because when I was in my 20s, you know, you just go out and you have fun and you don't really think about it too much. But I had more serious relationships in my 20s than I did in my 30s so far. And I think it's because things just change. You know what you want. You kind of... And it gets a bit harder because there are less people and you're maybe, I don't know, doing the same routines or whatever. But dating... I don't date all that much. The podcast is actually making me have to date a bit more than I naturally would, because for me it's always like people come in and out of your life when they do, and I'm done with dating apps. I mean, I look on them still, but I've never come across anyone I'd be remotely interested in, and I've kind of realised recently that I never really meet anyone in London that's good for me. So I'm realising that I kind of need to get myself back out into the world a bit more again. I used to travel so much and that kind of stopped for a while. And I think that's what I've been missing. My sort of, I always seem to meet people when I'm out in the world.
Because of your career, or why did it stop? Yeah,
so I did A Place in the Sun for 6 years, and then I went back and did 2 more summers doing the follow-up series, What Happened Next. But I was on a plane every other week when I was doing that show. So then I quit that show and I had a month of working really well, and then I had an accident, and that kind of stopped everything, work, travel, everything for a while, because it was quite traumatic. It was a head injury. And so for the last few years since then, I've not one, I wasn't making as much money, so I couldn't travel as much. Two, I wasn't doing that job anymore. So things just changed quite a lot. And to be honest, it's taken me probably the last 2 years to get back to a very good place. I really struggled. Physically, I didn't look very good for a while. But then when I started to look, I mean, you can still see I've got my scar or whatever, but like when I physically started to look better, my mental health got really bad. And I was really struggling with everything. Like I had PTSD, I had anxiety, I was definitely depressed, and I was just trying to make things happen. But it's only now that I'm in a good headspace that I can see why nothing was happening, because I was panicking and trying to push, and actually like I just needed to sit back and let myself recover and be nice to myself, which I did do a bit of as well. But yeah, now I'm kind of back at a place where I can do all of that again.
And all that journey must have also changed your dating criteria, or?
Well, yeah. I couldn't date for a while because, no one wants to date the girl who's going to just start crying but on the first date. No, I wasn't quite that bad, but I didn't date for a while. But I guess things do change. Like I feel like I lost a few years of my life in the sense of work, dating. So now being back at it all, it's kind of like you're a lot more focused on what's going to work and what you do want, and you don't really feel like you want to waste any time with people that aren't going to align with that.
Yeah.
So it's just harder. It's rarer to come across the right kind of people. But I do love going into it in the podcast because Alex, my co-host, is basically she's quite wild. Let's face it. She's really good fun, and she has got loads of great stories. I mean, we both have got lots of good dating stories. I've done plenty of it in my life. I think now it's more focused, but it's still a disaster.
Especially in London. I find London is a very tough place to date. I am off dating market for over 6 years now, but I remember the grind, and I found it actually, maybe therapeutic is not the right word, but it's definitely self-grinding, and there is a lot of like reflection in the dating process and understanding what you like, what you don't like, sexually, emotionally, physically. I mean, all sorts of things, right? And how do you find it? What did you learn? Give us some.
Oh gosh. Well, what have I learned?
Ones.
I've learned. So I've talked about someone that I've been on quite a few dates with on the podcast, and it's complicated because he's only 2 or 3 years older than me, but he's been married, he's got children, he's been there and done it, and it's kind of got to that point now where it's like, okay, this was going to be a bit of fun. Now we've got some feelings, but realistically, you've had it and I still want it. It's like, so, and you don't want to do it again, so we don't really align. So I'm probably gonna have to put myself out there a bit more. Again.
That's dating after 30s as well, right? Because it's not 1 and 1 anymore. It's 1 and something, it's 1 at work, it's 1 and
exactly. You give things a chance when you do like someone, because you think maybe, so you need a few months to work that out, but yeah, that's exactly it. You can't really be going on dates every night of the week. Some things work, some things don't, but you need to give it a bit of time to figure it out.
And how is that self process? Like, do you have any criteria, like you don't want someone with kids, or like kids is okay, but I want him to want more kids with me? Like, do you have some set criteria?
Kind of.
You're open? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be quite open-minded, because at the end of the day, I froze my eggs at the beginning of this year. I'm going to do another round before Christmas. Thank you.
A hard job.
Yeah, but you know what? Some people find it really hard. I actually, once I got into it, it was okay. It was the start that was hard. It was the standing in your kitchen by yourself, putting injections in your legs, being like, what am I doing here? How has it come to this, right? That's not a nice feeling. Also, I hate needles. So like, I was like passing out on the kitchen floor trying to do it.
I hate needles.
Oh, sorry. But once I got going, the hormones actually weren't too bad. And once they're out, you just back to normal like that. So I think now I've done one round, I feel good about doing the next one.
And you got more time now. Yeah.
Well, that's it. You sort of, I think knowledge is power with these things. And so I have checked up on my health in that way over the years. And they've always sort of said, you know, you should... My granny had children at 42. My other granny had children at 39.
Good.
So they've sort of said, you know, genetically, and they did all the tests that I should be fine into my 40s. But you just don't know what will happen or what will change. So I just think if you can give yourself options, why would you not? But I did that because although, like I said, I feel like I kind of lost a couple of years dating work-wise after that accident. Even if I was found the right person right now, I'm not where I want to be quite yet. And there's definitely quite a lot I want to achieve over the next 2 years. So I'm doing it for myself, really, just to, so that's an option. But bringing it back to the dating, if somebody has children, that actually totally doesn't bother me. The guy I've been seeing has lots of them. And it doesn't bother me, but it needs to be a situation where they would be open to, you know, if they've been married and they're divorced and they don't want to get married again or they don't want to have children again, well, obviously that would be robbing me of a life experience that I would like to have. So that's not going to work, which is a shame because of the current situation. But yeah, I don't really mind. The main criteria for me is that someone needs to be able to communicate and be emotionally developed, because I have dated so many guys in London that honestly, like, they just don't know themselves. Like, they can't see their toxic patterns, they can't see their toxic behavior. Their priorities are definitely in the wrong place. They've got Peter Pan syndrome. They're approaching 40 and they're not sure if they're ready for a relationship. I'm like, yo, bro, you okay?
I guess they don't have the biological clock, so they don't have to be.
They don't. But you know, like, I've read so many things about this, and it's actually much more beneficial for a man to have a partner than a woman. Like, men succeed more when they have a solid partner. And I think, like, by avoiding that and going for, you know, unhealthy situationships and then expecting something great later, I mean, yeah, good luck.
Rarely happens, I
exactly.
agree, yeah. And how did you come to be, you know, with that self-reflection and self-worth, like, not like the man you just described? How did you basically raised yourself whilst living in London? How did that happen to you?
To be honest, there was one person that I was sort of on and off with for many years, and I had this idea that we would end up together. I don't know why, but I did. And it had been on and off for a while, and the last time that I saw him, I just remember sitting looking at him and being like, no, this isn't what I want. You know, someone who's always checking their phone, always looking for the next best thing. You know, that guy that just isn't sure about you. And it's like, I'm worth being sure of, you know? It's just like, it's that I think it's like, some people are just born with this sort of confidence and self-worth. I definitely wasn't. It's taken me a long time to build it and create it within myself. And actually, the last person I've been seeing, he really sort of would tell me how amazing I was all the time, and, you know, show me the effort, do all the right things, say all the right things. And I was sort of getting there myself, realizing that I deserved more, and he just helped me see that even more, you know? And like, I think a big part of it is just growing up. And I was probably a late developer, but like growing up and realizing that actually you are enough, and that you're worth everything, and you deserve more, and someone who just really unapologetically will choose you and be kind to you and uplift you, and you can support each other. Toxic things, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no, basically. And I had so many maybes.
I was in relationships where I didn't feel fully chosen, even as a mother of a child, you know, shared with that man. And it's a very not nice place to be. No. You just don't feel safe as a woman all the time, and I don't think you can really focus on yourself in that environment. You become like, you try to either please or you need to go away, and then it's like all the time back and forth rather than, Yeah, I hate.
It's horrible.
It's like it made me. Yeah.
I'd rather be alone than be with someone that doesn't make me feel chosen.
Yeah, because we can't do it alone. And
Yeah.
even egg freezing, we have a amazing episode in season 1 with Marcia Inhorn, who is a Yale professor focusing on egg freezing, and she said most women do it single because we don't. It's great to have a partner. It's a magical experience. I hope you get one, and I hope I stay with mine this time round. I didn't the first time round, but we don't really need a man in the modern. You know, it's more like if you add to my life.
Yeah.
Then you're welcome to stay. But
yeah, that's kind of what I'd like. I mean, I would really love to meet someone, but I also won't settle for anything less.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What would you tell a woman who feel like they are behind because they are not married, or they don't have children, or they don't meet that criteria they should or they could?
You are not alone. I mean, I think anyone who's in that position, I'm in that position, you do feel like that, and it's hard. I love spending time with my best friends who are married that have babies, but it's also hard because the more time you spend with them, the more it highlights what you don't have and what you can't find. And I don't think there's anything that you can say that will make that better, other than like I'm trying to just keep the faith and have hope. And you know, everybody is on a different timeline, but that doesn't change the fact that our timeline is kind of set. And so I am at that age, 37. I've got friends who are 40 that haven't met someone, and that is the time where it really does become a bit scary. So I guess I would just say that you're not alone, that if you can take precautions to give yourself options going forward, like egg freezing, do it. Because it definitely took a weight off my shoulders. That even that first round, I suddenly felt more relaxed when I met people. Like, rather than being like, you know, is he the one? Is this going to be this? Da-da-da. You know, I suddenly was like, actually, okay, you know, I've got,
let's see.
The options takes the pressure off. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of strength in numbers, and there's a lot of us feeling the same way, and that's okay. Times have just changed. And you know what's crazy? The next younger generation, they're not going to feel the way we feel because it has changed. They're going to have watched it happen later for us, and they're going to be better about it. But we're the age group where it's like things have changed, so we're really feeling it.
Yeah, and also actually bringing back Marcy's episode, she said women like are finding new ways to have families, like single moms raising kids together. And I have so many friends who have found the one, and they still feel like single moms in a relationship, you know?
Yeah, I've got friends like that too.
And it's like, men doesn't really necessarily solve, like you can have with your girlfriends, your children, and traveling the world and having the best time. Like we grew up with these set ideas of what a family look like, but a family can look like anything you like, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, I might miss the sex if I did that with my girlfriends, but
I mean, you could still have the sex, but I mean, if the family is, when I got divorced, my married moms, because I was very much in that like mental picture of like something is wrong with me, you know, I'm not success, like it didn't work the way it should have. And the moms that were married and still are actually in the same marriages, she was like, you know what, if I was single now, I would fuck every single guy in London. Like, and I was like, okay, maybe I should do that.
Maybe I should get out.
Maybe that's true, you know, because you can do that. So I liked what you said, that like you like spending time with the babies and your friends, but then they don't have something you do. So it's, the grass is not greener on the other side. Yeah,
it's true. I do know that. It's just, I guess it's just hard, isn't it? It's hard. It's hard to keep the faith, but yeah, that's what else can you do?
Quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation, take a second to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us keep bringing you these honest conversations that rarely happen but really matter. Now, back to it. You've been open about anxiety online, and just now you told us you had strong panic attacks. It's a I had one in my lifetime, and it was such a scary place to be. Do you want to talk about that a little bit and how you managed to deal with them? Because that's a very important...
To be honest, it's been a very long process for me, because it started when I was about 21. So I had an accident a couple of years ago, but I also had one when I was about 21, and that was they were both very similar, which is crazy. But after the first one, I actually didn't understand what was wrong with me. I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to wet myself or shit myself. I was having such physical reactions from it. I think they affect people in different ways, but what I found crazy at the start was that I wasn't thinking anything bad. I was fine in my head. I thought I was fine. And then it was such a physical reaction. I would be dripping with sweat over my whole body, and I'd have to lie on a cold floor. And I thought I had some sort of virus, and it kept happening, and I'd go to the doctors. And anyway, it took me a very long time to learn what panic and anxiety attacks felt like. And the thing that helped me the first time round, when I was suffering from them really badly, was I was also struggling to go outside, because they would always happen when I went out into the world. So I started staying home more and more. But once I learned what was going on and what was wrong with me, I did a thing called NLP therapy, which is they take you back through all your sort of life while you're in a hypnotic state, and they sort of stop at all the flags of emotion, and they try to relieve the emotion from it. And it really, really helped me. So that had kind of helped with my headspace, but then I was still getting the physicalities of the panic attacks or anxiety attacks when I went outside. And what helped me was just making myself do it again and again and again. Whatever it was that was triggering me, I would go and do it. So I was struggling to go into busy towns. I mean, sometimes I would end up on the floor, but I would make myself just put myself in the situations.
Alone or with a friend?
Back then it was with my mum most of the time, but now they got less and less as the years went on, and then my accident a couple of years ago brought it all back. And I guess what's helped the most with that is just making sure that I listen to my body. Now that I know what it feels like, I can feel it coming. So I know to sort of put in a meditation in my ears and, do some deep breathing, or write. Something that just distraction is the key. If you sit and you go into it, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It's like when you start crying about something, you start crying about all the other things. But actually, if you just find a way to break it and just take yourself out of it and go and do something else. I exercise a lot. I have a pretty strong morning routine that I stick to, and I'm just speak a bit nicer to myself, and sometimes I just sit with it. Sometimes I'll be like, I can't do anything today because I'm feeling like this and I can't cope, and I haven't had it for a while, but when I do feel like that, shut the curtains, stay inside, do whatever you need to do. It's just listening to yourself,
but without being mean to yourself.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a fine balance between pushing yourself and getting through it, but also knowing when actually maybe you do just need to stop. And I think I kind of do a mixture of both of those things, which are two different extremes.
I guess you said in the beginning, your mind never stops. I'm this kind of a person too, and I get very strong migraines when I just fall out of it, 2 days vomiting and laying in the dark, cannot do anything. Yeah, but I'm learning exactly that. I'm like, there are moments when I know they would be coming, and if I'll push through and get on with my work, big migraine is coming next day. Yeah. It's like learning when to say, it's okay, it's just work. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not a policewoman. I'm not an ambulance driver. Yeah. It can wait. I can just watch my TV show even in bed and not feel. I used to feel so guilty about not working or something like that, but that's the thing. I can always sort of push and show up for things now, even if I am feeling a bit off. But I've also, something that I never used to be able to do was enjoy the slow moments. I would things would slow down with work, and I'd be like, I'm never going to work again, no one wants me, push, harass everyone, and panic, and just was on, operating on
constant state of stress, whereas actually some days, like on Monday, yesterday, I had a few hours and I was like, I'm gonna put my washing on, I'm just gonna go to the park, and actually like taking a minute to, like, I like to go on walks and take time to be grateful, so like just, you know, appreciating the small beautiful things about life. Like, sounds really silly maybe, but I never used to do that, and actually I can be a bit slower now and take moments to appreciate that. And I think that's because of all the learning I did when I was struggling with anxiety and panic attacks, because you have to learn to slow down, you have to learn to be grateful, you have to learn to focus on different things in a different way.
That's a very great thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Could you tell us about your morning routine, since you mentioned it?
My morning routine, yes. I mean, I stick to it more when I'm not so good. So like the moment that I'm feeling bad about a situation or life or myself or work or whatever, my morning routine comes back in full flow. Whenever I'm good, I can let it slide a bit. But anyway, the morning routine is I will get up, and have you ever read the...
What time was it?
Between 5 and 6:30.
Okay, well,
I try to make sure I get enough sleep, but I like to get up early as well. Have you ever read a book called The Miracle Morning?
No.
So it's a really thin book, but it's amazing. And it's got something in it called your savers. And it's like your 5 or 6 things that you should do every morning. It'll take you 1 hour, 6 things, for 10 minutes. And you go through them all. So one is writing your affirmations. So I found that telling myself you are fit, you are healthy. Because if I've like stopped going to the gym or whatever, like I like it. If I say it every morning, then eventually I start doing it again. So even if it's not true, it helps. So I do my affirmations in the morning for 10 minutes. Then I write, journal, whatever I need to, whatever comes out. I'll also do some stretching. I'll also do some meditating, breathing. And then I usually go for a walk or a run.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but the good thing about this book is it breaks down why taking the time to do these things is so good for you, but also tells you how to do it, like how to write your affirmations, so that they are very strong and really do help you. So yeah.
It's very nice. I'll try to do more of it.
It does help.
I do one of the
reading
5
was
things.
the other one.
Reading.
Sorry, 10 minutes of reading. I was like, what have I missed? Yeah, I like reading self-help books. And if you read 10 pages a morning, that's like 18 books a year. So I try to read a little bit every morning.
Self-help books are great.
I'm obsessed.
That's probably the section I go to
Same.
the most. Yeah.
Goals, How to Get Everything You Want as Fast as Possible. Very good book. The Secret, everybody's read that. What's the other one that I did recently? The Untethered Soul, that was good.
I don't know this one.
The Alchemist, that's good. Did them all. I don't actually read normal books.
Yeah, no.
The Chimp Paradox really helped me.
I have not.
Oh, I used to be so angry. Like, I'd get angry about things. And I read the Chimp Paradox, but silly things like, you're not here, you're supposed to be here 10 minutes ago, and I'd get stressed about it. And I read the Chimp Paradox, and it changed me. Really? Like, I'm chill.
I should read it.
It's just understanding why you have these, like, impulsive reactions and your brain, and it's the chimp in you, it's not really who you are. But yeah, it was a very good book.
I'll buy it
yeah.
today. Perfect.
If you get fiery or get angry or stressed easily, the Chimp Paradox is definitely a good one.
We touched about your dating life, but we also touched about your podcast. But do you want to tell listeners who never came across your podcast, why would they need to come and listen?
Sure. So we decided to do Date, Delete, Repeat because Alex and I are very good friends, and we're both in our 30s, we're both single, and we both are struggling with it a little bit, I guess. And we realised there's a lot of podcasts out there with younger girls talking about dating, or women maybe our age or even older talking about having families, but there's a lot of women now in their 30s and 40s who are single. And so we just wanted to be able to connect with them, really. All the trials and tribulations. I mean, a lot of it, we tell funny stories of things that we've got up to or things that have happened. Alex is also bisexual, so she's, got all the options and she's still finding it a shit show. But yeah, so we just kind of get into the dating, we get into female friendships, we get into holiday romances, we kind of cover it all. The feeling behind it for me was that yeah, we just wanted to connect with single women who are out there and make them feel a little bit less alone, because it is tough, but we're all in it together.
Great. Do you have any single women that are also mothers or divorced?
Do I? I probably do. Like as friends?
Or on the pod, yeah, as
Well,
stories?
on the pod at the moment it's just me and Alex.
Okay,
but
sharing
we've actually got our first guests coming in tomorrow, I think. But they're younger. So they're like the Gen Z and we're the millennials. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about like the difference in what dating's like for them and what it was like for us back then, and you know what their thoughts are on like being single in your late 30s, and it'll just be an interesting mix, I think. But we would love to get some, I'd really like to get some dating experts on there. I'd love to get men and women on there, single, married, you know, single moms, whatever. Just, yeah, cover it all.
All the dating aspects.
All the dating aspects, yeah.
Amazing. I will be listening to that.
I really should have come up with a podcast idea where it was like I go on an actual date and they record it. Because then I'd probably have more chance of like finding a husband.
It will motivate you to go on more dates. I actually read When I Was Dating, which is again almost a decade ago, but it's very much a statistics game. Like, you know, you need to go to 100 dates to...
Oh, that's the problem. It's so much effort. I'm like, can you not just meet someone on a bar on holiday and that'll do it? I mean, that's usually how I do it, to be fair. But yeah, I know everyone says that you just need to go on loads, but it's hard to find that time when you're busy.
Very hard. Yeah. Or you need to join more like clubs. Do you ride horses now, or?
I don't anymore, no. And I think my problem is because I still work. My schedule's quite like all over the place. So joining a club, I wouldn't be consistent.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Most of my friends are meeting their boyfriends like prepping for marathon, you know, or triathlon or Ironman. Like this seems to be...
Sounds like a lot of...
Gotta run a marathon to meet a guy.
Gotta run a marathon to get a husband. Bloody hell.
My God. Do you want to talk about love of cars a little bit? Do you want to tell me how that started? What are you doing with it?
Sure. So my dad taught me to drive when I was about 9 years old, because when he was little, when he was 9 years old, he used to drive his 5 brothers and sisters to church on a Sunday. And so they got taught, living on a farm, they got taught to drive really young. So he did that with me. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And when I was about 10, I got my grandpa's old car, which he had taken the doors off it. He was quite a funny character, my grandpa. He'd taken the doors off this car, and it was a Fiat Panda, and I used to drive it across the golf course to go and see my horses. But yeah, I just always, from that age of being like 11, rallying across the golf course, I just loved it. Doing donuts in the fields by the time I was 12, and I think I'm not like a car nerd. I don't know everything about everything at all, but I love driving and I love going on adventures and I love going fast and I love rallying and I love off-roading. Like, I like doing fast and dirty stuff.
Great.
And I think so. My dad and I went on a rally across Europe, like a rust bucket rally. It was such a fun adventure, and I've been pitching a few different show ideas, but hopefully I'm going to be going on an adventure at the end of the summer for a show, which will be really cool. But yeah, I'm learning to drift at the moment. Do you know what drifting is?
I know what it
is.
I cannot do it.
So that's the thing. All of that kind of like petrol-y, fast, fun stuff, like I just love it. I just love it. It's exciting. I like the thrill.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible driver. I'm like...
I need a co-host that's the nerd.
that parks the car parallelly like 10 times. I'm the opposite.
Oh,
but
no.
I appreciate the joy you might be experiencing. And was the Porsche, Porsche is the correct way, not Porsche, that you described in the beginning, is that like, it was a dream car, but did you see that car in real life or no?
Oh yeah, I've seen one in real life. I actually saw a really cool one when I was out in LA and they'd painted it pink and it was like, you definitely couldn't get away with that in London, but in LA it looked baller.
Perfect.
But I think actually, there's a car that my dad had given to him, I think, when I was about 9 or 10, and it was like a little MG Midget, which is like a tiny little British classic car. They're really cool.
Very tiny.
Yeah. And he got it given to him, and he sold it, and it got sold a few times, but I managed to track the current owner down.
So special.
Because I was like, I had such nice memories of my dad driving me up the road in that little car and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. So my mum helped me track it down, and he said that he's fully refurbished it. He's not selling it to anyone. He didn't plan on selling it, but when I want it, I can have it. So that's actually probably going to be the first one that I get, because I'd like to have that in my garage one day.
That is very special.
It's quite cute, isn't it?
My boyfriend is trying to track his first car to get it, but he was unsuccessful so far. But I think it's such a special thing, and of course you sell it for money when you're young.
Yeah.
But then when you're older and you have money, you're like, I wish I had that. Like,
Yeah. Well, my very first car was a Renault Clio in orange, and I called it Tange, and I got it when I was 17. I passed my test a week after my 17th birthday because I was so determined to just have wheels. But when that car died, I took it to a demolition derby. So we knocked all the windows out, we put roll cages in, and basically it's like these cars all thrash around this field, crashing into each other and racing in the mud. And you basically drive until the car is dead, and it gets lifted off with a forklift, and it's usually out of the pond or on fire. So that was pretty cool. That's probably
pictures of these cars.
That's probably also where I got my like love for just going fast, doing fun stuff.
Sounds really fun. I would love to go one day. Closing reflections.
Yeah.
Ready? What's one belief that's grounding you today?
That the universe is always working in your favour. The therapist I was seeing for a while just always tried to make me sort of say to myself that everything is transpiring in your favour. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, and like good things are coming your way. And I just always try to tell myself that every day. And like I walk down the road after this, and I always try to look up, because if you look down when you're walking along the street, you're thinking about the past and you're thinking about negative things. If you keep your eyes up, you naturally think about more positive things in the future. So I always try to do that. But I think I always just try to imagine that something good's about to happen.
That's so cool.
Took a long time.
I didn't know that, but I always when I look down, I'm like, why are you looking down? Like, the road is dirty. Look at, even like we're in Soho now, you know, the roads are really dirty here. Yeah. But the architecture is incredible, and I'm like, look at the windows, look at the statues, like look at the sky.
Always look up.
Yeah.
It's like I read a thing about it years ago, and it's like it's the connection between like positive and negative, and when you're looking up and down is huge.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't read anything, but like I agree with my whole heart. What are you giving yourself permission not to do anymore? I
have probably given myself permission, or encouraging myself not to stay somewhere for too long if it doesn't feel right. I think I've been in situations where I sort of have faith in people, and I trust them when I probably shouldn't, or I've just given probably a lot of situations or people too much of my time, having faith in them when actually their actions are showing otherwise. So I think I've sort of given myself permission not to stay somewhere that doesn't feel 100% right for too long.
That's so cool.
Keep it moving.
I'm starting to do that, especially with employees, because I had different relationships with different employees in my company. And now I'm like, show me, don't tell me. You know how some, especially men, I'm not saying all men are like that, just so you know, but especially some men, more senior men, they come to, I'm super CEO, I'm going to do this, and this, I don't know, you know.
Sure.
And I'm like, show me.
But that is a man thing, giving you all the words. Like, I don't need any words, I just need actions.
And I used to give people more time, like, okay, he's going to prove now I'm like, I don't even want to hear any of it. Show me, and then we'll talk. Like,
Yeah.
but it's a very new thing for me because I'm like super empathetic.
Oh, but same. It's
extra.
hard. That's the thing. I am so empathetic. I get upset feeling other people's pain so easily, and it's hard if you have that much empathy. Like life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that what we're talking about now, like it definitely, like once you do it once, like, and you keep building on it, you go, actually, no, this is not working for me right now. Like everyone's always trying to get the best out of a situation for them, not for you. You need to have your own back and you need to push or, you know, remove yourself or whatever it is. For sure. And I think I just had too much worry and faith in everyone else for too long.
Me too. I feel you.
Slows you down.
What's one thing you're excited about right now?
Ooh. One thing I'm excited about is okay, I last year I tried stand up for the first time. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to try that again. And I put it off and put it off and put it off. And I've got a new comedy coach and I'm meeting with him tomorrow. And because I went and did it and it went really well, but I've been too scared to go and do it again because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to learn about something new, the art of comedy. And I really, I've got loads of life experience that I can throw into it. So I'm going to go and write in the sun for a few hours before I meet him tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. Invite me to one of your shows.
Oh God, I'm going to regret telling
love
anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much for coming. It was
Easy.
very nice meeting you.
Oh, you too. No problem.
If you love this conversation with Danni, share it with a friend who needs it. And don't forget to follow us at do.not.disturb.podcast. You can find Danni at danni.menzies and listen to her new podcast, Date, Delete, Repeat, wherever you get your shows. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Do Not Disturb.